Good afternoon on what is a mild, grey and cloudy day. It is Thursday the 23rd of May and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea. And package to continue unboxing. In fact, I think we're going to finish unboxing this as what I've got in here are copies of Senet, the magazine, which states that board games are beautiful. I've already done an unboxing of that. Next, I have issue 12, published in the autumn of 2023. I'm slowly catching up. That's my excuse. And this is a really lovely little book magazine, looking at board games, showcasing them all to the best, to the very best, giving decent reviews, good interviews, and discussions of themes and mechanics along the way. So, open up. We have the editorial from Dan Jolin. Adverts, of course, contents page, and we start off with actual content with Behold, which is the preview section. First game there is Mycelia, which is a game about growing and harvesting mushrooms. You see just a fantastic artwork on that, and you can see just how well, even though this is a preview, the magazine is really presenting that in an attractive, clear fashion. Carry on, we've got Roll for Life, which is a Kickstarter advert, and it's actually for a role-playing guide, basically fleshing out your characters. So it's a little bit of an odd place to have this, because Senet is a board magazine about board games, not role-playing games. But hey, for advertising, again, more previews, including the Fighting Fantasy Adventures, essentially, which turns the Fighting Fantasy series from Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson into a board game. Now, of course, there's been a board game based upon the Warlock of Firetop Mountain all the way back to, the mid-80s from Games Workshop. But having something is a new game is going to be interesting, and that's by Martin Wallace, who has designed some fantastic games in the past. Okay, and then after the preview section, it's still ongoing, and then basically we've got a game called Ancient Orange. Look at that! Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, that's superb. It makes you want to look at this game just on the basis of just how pretty it looks. More adverts for this is actually for a card holder for your card game and your dice. And then we have Points, which is the letters page, and then we've got an ongoing column about the designer's development of his Gloom of Kilforth board game. And then Ingenious, we have an interview with Rainer Knizia, perhaps one of the most prolific of board game designers. He has designed hundreds of games, designed them, redesigned them, re-implemented them, and his games are always, looked forward to with, highly anticipated. So this is an interview with him, looking at some of his classic designs, how he conducts, his design process, and again, just showcasing some of his games. We have Rhino Notes, crunching the numbers of Knizia's prolific output. So essentially just breaking down how many games by year and so on he has produced, and it's quite a lot. And then we have, so typically each issue will have an interview with the designer and an artist, and it will deal with a mechanic and a theme, so that this issue's theme is dinosaurs. So basically we've got, you are looking at everything from from the really big games, Dinosaur Island, all the way down to tiny epic dinosaurs. We've got just a snapshot of some of the games I don't think that's the right way to present those titles. Those boards, they're a bit tiny. And essentially, the other thing about dinosaur games, you're kind of thinking about evolving them and growing them and breeding them, and basically Jurassic Park. So that's quite a lengthy exploration of that theme. And then we have an interview with Vincent Dutrait, the escape artist, which is a nice pun because he's presumably drawn a lot of artwork for escape style games. And the other thing about Senet is what it does, as well as showcasing the look of board games and how pretty they are, it also showcases how the artwork, and in particular, when it comes to the artist, it gives time for him the artist to discuss his work and just showcase it off to great effect. And you just think, well, it doesn't matter that these are illustrating board games. There's just the fact that it's great art. And that's just sort of showcasing some of the games he's worked on for the past few years. And even to the extent of basically giving him like double-page spreads like this of just one piece of artwork, which just makes you want to go, wow. And then area of conflict, essentially area control games. This is the mechanism under the microscope, as it were, of this issue, looking at the history, some archetypal games, most notably, we've got Terry Pratchett's Outmortalk, and then Small World, perhaps the most modern iterations, and then looking at games from around the world. And then unboxed is the review section. So again, doing exactly the same thing, essentially the same kind of format as the unboxed section. Sorry, as the behold section. So you can just see there, and the format is exactly the same here, but just basically the text is going to be different. Essentially, showing you how good this game is, whether it's worth playing or finding, and so on. Then we've got a review of Undaunted, which is the Battle of Britain version of the combat game from Osprey Games. Got a couple of games here that I'm interested in. So Lord of the Rings adventure game, I've got that on my shelf to review, and I want to get hold of Kingmaker at some point, because I looked at the previous one, previous edition, first edition, and in general we've just got review after review of interesting games to look at. And then how to play, essentially, and this is essentially a continuing section about board game culture, and things that sort of like, some previous issues have looked at things like, of how to welcome someone in to play games, how to deal with an alpha player, and here this is talking about how you unbox your games, because there's an art to it. There's not sure an art to it, but there is some things you want to consider. Do you want to unbox it and just throw it back in? Do you want to bag everything up? Do you want to put trays in? That sort of thing. And of course, and there's also the pleasure of discovery when you do an unboxing of a board game. So yeah, we've got Gibson's Games advert for Kingmaker, and the last thing is Shelf of Shame, in which takes they approach a YouTuber reviewer designer and so on and say, what have you got on your shelf which you haven't played and should have done, you know, and it's sat there for years, and in this case it is you know, a YouTuber, for no pun included, he's taken down El Grande and played that for the first time, and basically just what he thinks of it and whether he thinks it's actually worth having coming off the shelf. And then obviously on the back we've got a advert for Star Trek Cryptic, board game from Funko Games. One I'll have to track down probably, as I do like Funko Pop games, even though they're no longer in business. But anyway, that is Senet Issue 12, which I'm going to add to the reviews queue. But I'm going to enjoy reading because there's some good articles in there already. I can see I'm going to enjoy those. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with package containing a book or game, or in this case a magazine about board games, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.